Alright, so this is just a Warframe playthrough of me showing showcases. Today is just a chill day. But I was figuring since my gauntlet, my clan gauntlet is tomorrow, and gauntlet is a representation of what our clan is anyway to begin with. We have at least, we do it every now and again. I won't tell you how many times, but to be honest with you, it's something I do for the clan. And I have to farm all these prime parts, so I'm going to do nothing but farm missions and farm different prime parts within this game today for like probably a good 3 hours of nothing but farming prime parts. So I said to myself, well, that's pretty boring, and for members within my clan probably don't want to see that anyway, or anyone don't want to see that anyway. So the best way to do it, if I'm going to do it, is to showcase various different frames while I'm farming. So this is the Nekros Warframe. I'm going to showcase him first. And his abilities. So this ability is called, that I just did. This is to acquire health off the dead. Oh, they're going towards the end, so I gotta pick up pace. Okay, so now that I got everything, I'll be able to get the prime part. So this is the third ability, the one that I just did here. And what that does, that acquires health off enemy drops. So if I shoot an enemy after doing the third ability, okay, so what happened is I'll shoot him, I'll follow his body. Where is it? Oh, okay, so he disappeared. Alright, I have to do it again. Okay, you saw that? What that is that's a despoil ability. It basically, his powers grab whatever resource out of the dead bodies before the dead body disappears. That's the purpose of his third ability. To pull resource out of the dead body before it disappears, such as health, such as ammo, such as mods, and other stuff as well. Why haven't these people extract? I already got 10 resources. Alright, so that's basically that's his third ability. And then sometimes if you have this ability on automatically, it'll take from the body. You don't have to keep casting it on. And it's a modification you put on this Warframe, specifically for this Warframe. It saves you the time of pressing the button over and over again, and it saves you energy resource, because his third ability is an energy resource depletion ability, just the same as every Warframe's ability. Every Warframe ability depletes energy, but the mod that I put on this Warframe called Despoil cancels that out, but in return it takes away from his actual health. So these people aren't leaving and going to extraction. So that's what that third ability is. Oh, never mind. I'll take an arrows. That's good. Okay, can I join your clan? Yes. Okay, so just wanted to speak to him on with regards to joining clan. So what we do in our clan is that we recruit people as well. So I am going to be recruiting the same time I'm running this mission, and during the same same process, there are going to be people calling to join our clan. Now, these are all impatient people because there aren't many patient people on this planet. 1 minute is the most that they could be patient before they decide to move on. And if you run into someone who's doesn't have patience beyond a minute, or has patience of 1 minute, 1 minute and below a minute, and expect you to join them, then that person is probably going to leave your clan, or probably going to go offline and stay offline for like 300 and something days. So for like this is my clan. These are the amount of people that are on my clan, and these are the amount of people that are offline. 371. And these are the amount of days that they are offline. Now, our clan doesn't have a kick ratio, but after 280 days, we remove people from the clan. So 280 days is very close to 300 days. But once it hits 280, we typically remove people from clan, from the clan itself. So we try to remind people, don't do 280 days, because 280 days is very close to coming towards the end of the year. They're basically the last 3 months of that makes up the last 4 months that make up a year. You will have to go past. You will have to go past September. It's because October, November, December, and then October, November, December. No, you have to go past August. So we actually give you a full 8 months before we decide to kick you. Because once it hits like 300 days, then yeah, it could go anywhere from 200. To be honest with you, go anywhere from 280 to 300 days. Typically, we try to keep it close to a year. But once we see that you go past 280 days, past 300 days, and that's time for you to be kicked. Because we don't. If someone has gone beyond 6 months, beyond 6 or 7 months from a clan, then that means that person has no interest in playing the game whatsoever anymore. And I've heard lots of excuses as well, such as they're overseas, or such as they're in school, or such as they have family and friends and children and all this stuff. But that's all lies, because I know for a fact that if you're in the military and you're overseas and you can't get back to your gaming system, the most that any deployment goes is 6 to 7 months of a deployment, because that's how long military deployment into another country is before you get sent back to the base in the country that you come from. The most that they ever give you 6 to 7 months, and the only time that they would extend 6 to 7 months is because it's some extraneous situation. Otherwise, the typical deployment ratio is anywhere from 6 to 7 months. So by the time the 6 months is over, you should be back at the base within the 7th or the 8th month. So that's why we typically kick people after about 8 or 9 months within this clan. So that's for military people alone. That doesn't happen for normal average Joes. I don't care what surgical researchers or what what heart condition you have, or how many kids you have to take care of. If you're telling me you have to take care of so many kids every day that it extends past half a year, then you really shouldn't be playing games whatsoever at all. If you can't do it, I understand if you could take care of your kids and then you want to jump on it every once in a while. But if it goes past half a year, that's not once a while, man. I want to jump on this once a year, or when I get the time, which means your ass was casual from the jump. You had no intention of joining a clan that says, as long as you are not inactive beyond a certain point, you can stay in the clan. And once you agree on that, it means you never agreed on that to begin with. You were just telling someone what they want to hear. So not only do I remove these people and I block these people, which means that's forcing them to create a new account, because they can't come back to the clan anymore. They could fake a new account and pretend to be someone and come back into the clan, and I wouldn't know. But that would make them have to create a new account, because they're now blocked from ever joining the clan. Like the guy I just kicked here, he's going to never be able to come back in the clan, and he'll probably have to create a new Warframe account in either PC or something. Once Warframe becomes a cross-platform type of game. So yeah, I always tell people, and I'll tell these people in the clan right now, 200, 280. If you see that someone left the clan, see that someone left the clan while I'm online, while I'm online. I'm doing this from a control. That's why it's taking so long. It means I kicked them. So I know life is hard. I know life is hard. But my patience, the clan's patience, should I say, the clan, because the other warlords thinks the same way too. Even though he's going away for a while, he's going his little vacation thing. But our rules, I should say it like that, but our rules really never go past, never goes past. But our inactivity, inactivity. Inactivity limit never goes past. The ratio. So keep in mind. So I have to keep thinking about these things because some people are so sensitive. So keep in mind. So keep in mind. 7th, 8th, and 9th month. So keep in mind 7th, 8th, and 9th month are so keep in mind anything, any inactivity. Keep in mind any inactivity in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month is a no-no, is bad, are bad. Any inactivity within the 7th, 8th, and 9th month is bad. And could get you kicked. So any inactivity that goes, keep in mind any inactivity that goes, see, I have to be specific, that goes past the 7th, 8th, or 9th month, and 9th month is bad. So keep in mind, but our inactivity limit never goes past 300 days. So keep in mind any inactivity that goes past the 7th, 8th, and 9th month is bad. So if you 180 to 300 days is the limit we keep inactive Nekros. But our inactivity limit never goes past 300 days. So keep in mind, any inactivity that goes past the 7th, 8th, and 9th month is bad. Alright, I'll leave it at that. So I'll continue on playing with Nekros because I didn't finish to describe all his abilities and I want to get this quick. Sometimes there are many interruptions. I'm also recruiting as well, not just staying stuff within the clan. So there, put more recruiting there, do more missions. I'm doing the weak missions because the weak missions I'm able to actually talk without worrying about dying many times. Obviously I'm going to do some more higher level missions. But for right now I'm talking about the Nekros. And then I'll talk about the next Warframe. So the Nekros Warframe is probably the best farming Warframe in the game, and I just stated the third ability, and that third ability is the Despoil ability, and that Despoil ability you could only get that mod from a syndicate, and it's a syndicate mod. You attach that syndicate mod to your Warframe, the Nekros. That allows the Warframe to
the Grineer
not
want
use
to
his
poison
energy.
the mighty forests of Earth to make more room for themselves. You are here to stop them. Find the toxin mixer. My intel suggests there are rich enemy supply caches in the area, but I am unable to pinpoint their exact location. Search them out if you are willing to shoulder the added risk.
So the third mod lets the Nekros Warframe for his third ability, which is the Despoil, allows him to not use his energy, and to save his energy for his first, second, and fourth ability, rather than his third, which will eventually, based on the mod, will take away from his health instead of his energy, which means it's essential to kill enemies so that you could get return health back for each enemy energy you lose, which is good. Now his first ability is this ability right here. Oh, I can't do it because there's no enemies around. So his first ability is an ability that he throws his fireball type thing at an enemy, and what it does is it makes the enemy's soul go out of their body. And once the enemy's soul is outside of their body, the body can no longer fight and move anymore, which means they're dead.
The relic has been cracked open.
So he kills them by making their soul goes out of their body, period. Or he kills the soul by using void energy to remove the soul from the body. So once the soul is removed from the body, the person dies, obviously. Now the second ability is for Nekros is Terrify ability. And what Terrify does is that if you're with a crowd and you have on a good mod for reach, for having reach, or a good distant mod, and what distant mods do increase your range of your aura power, or the range of your character's aura power. If you use Terrify, second ability, and there are multiple enemies surrounding you, you could cast it, and then the enemies will just simply run away. And if you have good duration on your Nekros, they'll run away for a long time before they return and try to fight you again. Which means you could get a good 20 seconds to 10 seconds for them to run away, for you to defend a target that requires you to defend any target so that the target could keep its health and doesn't get destroyed. And what that does, it allows you to restock, replenish health, think of better strategies while you're fighting at the same time. So if you're going for a duration on the Nekros Warframe, and it's for defense purposes, you'll need range and you'll need duration if you're going to use the casting second ability to Terrify for them to make them run away. Now his fourth ability is the fourth ability, which is the best ability, is actually fourth ability is the second best ability, is he can summon the dead. And what it means by summoning the dead, he could summon every enemy he's killed within the mission to assist with regards to him actually fighting or defending a target. So not only does he have the crowd control terrify abilities, he also have the fourth ability, which is also a crowd control ability. So if you ever come across an exuberant enemy that casts elemental damage, what your fourth ability will do, your fourth ability will allow the exumus to attack the copy instead of attacking you, which gives you the opportunity to kill that exumus, especially if that exumus is the level 100 exumus. And that's good. What's good about Nekros, his third and his fourth ability, by having his fourth ability and by having the third ability. The second ability is not that great, and the first ability is not that great. But his third and fourth is good. So that was the kit for the Nekros Warframe. First ability, soul sucking ability, or soul pushing ability. I mean, first ability, yeah, soul pushing. Second ability is terrifying and keeping enemy in crowd control. But that only happens in a 180 in front of you. It doesn't happen if an enemy is standing behind you, which is bad. You need a 360 crowd control ability. And then you have the third ability, which is to take resources and take mods and take elements and take ammo and every type of creative items you find within a dead body and remove it from that dead body. And then there's the fourth ability, which is the second best ability. And what that ability does is, like I just said, it's the best of his crowd control ability because it allows for him to keep enemies at bay while at the same time killing enemies. So he's doing all the killing while his fourth ability is keeping enemies at bay, and they don't just die straight off. They take a little bit of damage and then they die off, and it's multiple ones of them. So it's not like they take one hit, they go down, and then you have to recast again. They take a couple of damage, and it's purely based on physical strength. So if your strength for your dead is high, then they're going to be more tanky. But if you're going for strength for your dead, then you will need to have a lot of health on, because what your dead does, your dead, every time you cast your fourth ability, it takes from your health pool to cast your fourth ability. So what you'll want in a situation like that is you'll want mad health mods on. So you would want to go less shields, you want to go armor, and you want to go more health and more armor. But you're also going for range, so it's the decision between more armor or more health. And you will always want to go more health if you're going to put strength on your fourth ability. But this would be bad. But you don't need like super strong strength. You need duration, and you need this is 24, 30. This is 24, but it gives you energy spent convert to shields, which is better. And so that's good. And obviously you'll need the spoil if you're using third ability. But if this is simply about defending a target and it's not about resource farming, you don't need the spoil. You would need this, Shadows of the Dead, because that'll keep you alive and don't make you go down, don't make you die. But at the same time, you'll also need range if you're using, I guess. Okay, so here's Here's where it gets a little tricky. Here's where it gets a little tricky. You need range to keep enemies at bay, but you also need duration to keep the enemies that you cast for a second ability away, as well as you need duration to keep your men, your soldiers, your for defending target alive. Um, but if you fight higher level enemies, they'll one shot them anyway. So it's like, why have that on anyway? Um, and then there's efficiency. You have to consider that as well. But you have on prime flow and you have on arcing energize. So the main thing is to still have lots more health on. That's the main thing. If you're going to use Shadows of the Dead to keep yourself alive, as well as defend the target or location, or let's say, for instance, you're not even going to use Shadows of the Dead. You just need strength in order to keep um, your party alive, your summon abilities, your characters, your summons. You want to keep it here. Even if you want to use that, you're still going to drain up some health in order to keep them alive. And then I guess you could decide based on how high the mission is going, how long the mission is going to be, as well as how much power you're going to need. This will be the ideal setup because you don't need Shadows of the Dead unless you know for certain that you yourself are going to take a lot of damage. And if you yourself are going to take a lot of damage to your health, it's only going to happen if you don't have duration and strength on your characters, on your summons. So in a situation like this, I guess you could make the decision. Each shadow within 15 of 6 to Nekros is taken by, yeah. So if Nekros, here's the thing though, this is why I say don't use this. If Nekros is not taking super heavy damage, then that whatever little damage is going to be transferred to your Shadow of the Dead. And if your Shadows of the Dead doesn't need to receive that transfer of damage, then you're just killing them off subtly by giving them extra damage towards them when all you need is something like fast deflect to make sure your shields come up fast enough so that you don't have to take any more damage. So something like this is much better than to have something like Shadows of the Dead on. Shadows of the Dead only really kick in when you start fighting really high level enemies. But something like this will work much better, as well as just having a little bit of ability strength on, which will replenish shields. So that's the kit for this is the kit for someone like well, this works as well, adaptation. Because adaptation, whether the enemies are high or low, eventually you come across an enemy that will do heavy amounts of damage. So you want to have this if you don't want to transfer damage from. If you don't want to transfer the damage from. How you doing? I'm just talking about various warframes, man. What I'm going to do is just describe this warframe and move on to the next. I'm doing prime part farming. I really shouldn't be talking about this warframe that much, but now that I'm in the mood, I think, damn it, I think 100 is good. 100 is good. 100 is good if you're just defending a target. As long as you have duration for the enemy to stay away at 155, they could stay away at 155 and stay at that position at 100 at 155 duration. At least that's what I'm. Yeah, that's good because you just need to keep them away from the target. So this is good. And adaptation, and you don't need to use this spoil, and you don't need to use Shadow of the Dead because you still want to keep your souls of your dead enemies in the game. You just need fast deflect on. So this is good. This is good setup. So I'll move on to the next warframe. Maybe. Da, 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 da. Um, no. Oh yeah, there's an. Okay, damn. I keep forgetting. Enemies can blast you out of the sky. Even like there are enemies that do knockdown, and you're thinking, well, they're just not slamming to the ground. They knock you down while they're slamming to the ground. But in this game, knockdown is an aura effect. So once they blast to the ground, it hits enemies that jump in the air as well, and they get knocked down. So in a situation like this, damn it, Prime Short Foot would work. And then you put in here Soul Survivor. No. Creeping Terrify. Creeping Terrify affected enemies have 60% chance to reduce movement speed. Good for defense. 60% reduction in movement speed. So once they're terrified, they don't run away fast, but I want them to run away fast. Shadows of the Dead. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this last slot right here. Let me see if I can make. Okay, I got it up to 8 at least. Can I get it up higher than that? No. All right, so I got it up to 8. So what I'm trying to say is this last section right here. If you have fast deflect on at high rank or maxed out rank of 9, you put it right here. Fill it in the slot right here. Which means you have to. Can I? How much power strength will I have? Oh no. There's no way around it. Unless, depending on the enemy type. But it's never good when you're fighting high level enemies to be using melee. You want more health in a team, especially a team. And then you want give yourself a little bit of extra strength. So this is at 6 and this is at 7. So that's not that good. Gee man, what if I do this? No. What if I do this? Still at 8. Okay, no. Wait. No. That was 6. This is 8 now. That's good. But no matter what, okay, wait. One more. Okay, so all I gotta do is either take from health or take from fast deflect. I think I'll take from health. Because fast deflect works wonders if you know how to use it correctly, which means it'll save you more health if you use fast deflect correctly. Like as soon as you take heavy damage and your shield goes down, all you got to do is run behind the wall. Fast deflect comes on real quick. Start fighting again. Shields go down. Run behind the wall. Fast deflect goes back up. Then they have to take the shields down again, which saves your health more than you have less fast deflect on. Okay, so this is what I'll do. No, less health. Gladiator. Do I have more Gladiator Resolve? Gladiator Resolve. I don't have. Missing. Go back again. Finesse, but no resolve. Oh, that sucks. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is make sure you have Gladiator Resolve at 3. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these little ranks at the bottom. Once it's maxed out, it'll say 9. Have Gladiator Resolve at 9. And it says in the upper right-hand corner. This one is at 10. This one is at 9. You want one at 8. You want a Gladiator Resolve at 8. And then you want Fast Deflect at 9. That will work best for you. And then you're able to put in something like a Augur, secrets in this location right here would just boost up your power to just a little bit. But if you don't want to do that, you can always go for the long survival run, which is put in shadow of or shields of shadow. I don't know. For some reason, that don't seem to work out best for me. See, because once you start fighting higher level enemies, even if you want to keep your power strength at 100, you will need more efficiency. Because the more you cast and more you use your power, the more energy is being sucked from your body. So you want something like this. So if you put this Gladiator Resolve down to 8, you're able to have probably a streamline at 15% energy. That's not good at all. That's not good. But you don't have to see. The thing is, the best part about this is, once this is on, this is a duration of 155. That means your dead is going to stay alive in the mission for a much longer time. And the damn prime short footage was taking away from everything. That's the problem right there. It's the prime sure footed. It takes up so much. It's a 16, but this is what's going to work out if you have this on. And if you can't find it, let's say if you can't find a prime sure footed, then you put in something like a handspring. Prime sure foot is better. Handspring comes in second. If you really don't have enough slot to put in prime sure footed, put this in. And this is for a Nekros crowd control range, decent range build. His range is at 100, which is standard. I wouldn't say this is a Nekros crowd control range build. This is a Nekros crowd control average build, an all-rounder build. So this is my all-rounder Nekros build. The range would be something, I put range. The range will be if you take off Augur Secrets and you don't give your shadows power to have more strength. You just put on 45% more ability range. So now this is a range build. This is a duration range build. So this is the build you want to go for Nekros. And that's the finish. That's all I got to say with the Nekros Warframe. So even though I want to keep talking, I have to keep playing and keep farming for the Gauntlet, which is tomorrow. I can't forget about that. I have to keep farming for the Gauntlet. That means I have to keep doing missions. And if I'm going to keep doing missions, I'm going to keep talking about various different Warframe while doing that one single thing. And I'm not going to do survival or endless missions, otherwise I won't be able to showcase the different Warframes. So this is the Ash Warframe. I'll pick anyone. Well, actually, I won't pick anyone. I need good prime parts. I need good prime parts. Harrow Prime, Tenora Prime, Strand Prime, Paris. Paris is garbage. Well, actually, Paris is not garbage at all. Lex is not bad. Is bad. It's bad. Okay, so here we go. All right. So now this is the Ash Warframe, and this Ash Warframe is extremely good DPS Warframe. Unless you have a problem with how to actually use the Ash Warframe, this is a good Warframe to go for. This is one of the Warframes that most of the vets use, and most of average Warframe people use anyway when it comes to DPS. The DPS usually goes Volt, then it goes forward Excalibur, then it goes someone like Ash, or it goes something like Volt, Ash, Excalibur. Standard at 180 range in a, I guess you could say in a 180 degree. The most strongest 180 degree range forward would be someone like Excalibur, and then as long as Volt has his shields, he would come in next. But Volt is considered the strongest DPS forward now because of his shields. But in all truth, without his shield abilities, Excalibur is still the strong 180 degree forward DPS. And then you have someone like Ash, which is crowd control DPS. So this is the Ash Warframe, and his first ability, I'll show you his first. These are the various abilities here. Actually, let me go into operator mode and disappear. So this is the ability called Master Summons, and this is what this does. I have to keep in mind my invisibility on my operator only lasts for a couple of seconds, 30 seconds. This is Master Summons, this is Smoke Screen, this is Teleport, and this is Blade Storm. And those are his abilities. So I'll use the first ability on the first enemy I have. First ability is Master Summons. Heal your companion and call it to your side. Oh, did I change it? I did change it. I subsumed his first ability. His first ability isn't Master Summons. His first ability is a Shuriken ability. So that's a subsume ability. So I'll just explain his second, third, and fourth ability.
You have broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission. Find extraction.
Okay, so second ability is Smoke Screen. So it goes anywhere from 8 up. So mine I believe is probably at 1 second, or it could be 8 seconds. I could be wrong. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's at 1 second.
Take a look inside.
Not at 8. Let me see it again. 1, 2. Yep, it's at about 1 or 2 seconds. So he's not built for duration. This is not duration Ash. Now this invisibility I just did that's going to last a hell of a lot more than 1 second is a hack. It's a hack ability, which allows me to successfully go invisible for a full 12 seconds, 10 to 12 seconds, after doing a hack, which has nothing to do with Ash's kit. Alright, so I'll get into his third ability once I return. So Ash's third ability, is this Core Prime Neuroptics? Oh shit. So Core Prime is the new Warframe. That's why everyone's going for that Warframe. Okay, so I'm not gonna get into Core Prime. I'll come into her. I'll get to her once I go through these other Warframes. So Ash's third ability is I'll have to check it after I get back to my ship. But I believe his third ability is a lock-on ability. And that lock-on ability allows him to see, kind of like see through the wall. I'll check it right now. No, it's not. It's not the see-through wall one. It's the teleport one. So his third ability is the teleport. Ash teleports towards the target, bringing him into melee range and making enemies vulnerable to finishers. So Ash is a melee warframe. So if you're going to build an Ash warframe, remember that more than anything else, Ash is a melee warframe. Think ninja. Think ninja. Ninja won't be shooting guns to kill his enemies. Ninja won't be using swords to kill his enemies. Ninja will use sabers or small daggers, because that's what ninjas use. Small cut sabers and small daggers to get within melee range and do assassinations, because that's what a ninja is, an assassin. And their weapons are typically short range to mid range weapons. Even historically, they've always been mid-range to short-range weapons, never long. So he has to get within melee distance of his enemies, and that's his weakness as well as his strength. Because once he's within melee range, his critical chance of and physical damage is incredibly high. So you don't want to be within range of Ash when he starts to do his attack abilities, because if you know how to use the combination of his different abilities, you can really use him well. So his kit is what I have him for. See, I have 13% in duration. That's why it's at 1 second. So if I throw on something like Prime Continuity, oh, I have to do something first. Oh, I can't throw that on either. Really? That's weird. I never gave him. I thought I gave him an aura. Uh, oh, I never gave him. I never gave him the. Okay, so there are certain auras in this game, and there are two type of auras. There's the regular aura, which has like the circle on top of it, and then there's the aura forma. And what the aura forma does, the aura forma allows you to put on any type of aura type. Like these symbols with the circle on top of them all represent like auras. Anything that represents circle means aura because aura is something that's circular in form that surrounds you, all around you. That's why they use circle to represent aura. But there are various aura types. There are those that have the minus sign. There are those that has the equal sign. There are those that have like the triangle sign. There are those that have like uh, a V sign, and then there are others as well. So the ones that have I guess you could say the one that has the minus sign are called the Naramons. The ones that have like I guess you could say the reverse triangle are the ones that are called the Vazarin, and the ones that are called Madurai with the V upside down V, or not the upside down V, just the V in shape are Madurai, and this one is Vazarin, and then this one's Naramon, and then of course the one that has the equal sign is kind of what the game defines equilibrium as, which is Zenuric, basically both health and energy. So you would use this for warframes that use up a lot of health and warframes that use up a lot of energy. Mostly warframes that use energy, less on health. Mostly, this is basically a type of one of the out of the all the different aura types, or not the aura types, the all different ability types or school types that balance off both armor, health, damage, everything all at once, but mostly is for energy. So since Ash is known as a melee warframe typically are damage warframes. So he will always have the V sign. So if you see an aura for a warframe where the aura circle and then right next to that aura circle there's a V next to it, or like this type of V looking thing next to his aura, it means that that warframe is a DPS warframe. That their sole job within any mission is to do damage while someone else is backing up the team to do health repair, and someone else is backing up the team to do energy constitution, and someone else is backing up the team to do crowd control. His job is purely to do damage. If you see a warframe that has this like V, that means that's damage. So you have to look at every single thing within the aura that has that little V next to it. And once you found what specific type that you want, based on the type of enemies that you're going to fight, whether enemies that use a lot of rifle, enemies that use shotguns, or if the enemies that are weak to shotguns or weak to rifles, or depending on the type of weapon you're using, I'm using a shotgun or I'm using a rifle. It all depends on what you're actually going to be doing in the mission. Am I going to be using a shotgun? So you put shotgun in there. Am I going to be using nothing but melees? So you put melee in there. And am I going to use nothing but rifles? So you put rifles in there. Regardless of what mod you put on in this slot, it's going to be for damage, because this warframe is based on this V signal, is a damage warframe. So he's purely going to be doing damage in mission. The only time you will be putting on something like growing power, which has a V, to increase your strength, not your weapon damage, is to increase your power of your ability once you cast it and use that ability on your enemies. So you put on something like growing power to do more damage if that's what you're going for. So I'm going to put on growing power, and I'm going to put on more duration, and I'm going to put on even more power since this is a power Warframe. And he's now at 68 duration with 160 efficiency, 100 range, and a 214 ability strength. And this is a standard how I have things and how I've named things: A, B, and C. A represent all-rounder, B represent tank, and C represents range. So this kit, this loadout right here is for A, is I use this Warframe for everything. This one will be I use this Warframe for specific long run missions where enemies start to become very powerful. And this one, last one, will be for where you use for range. So that's the standard of mission types in Warframe. You will always have your average mission. You'll always have the enemy's a super strong mission. You'll always have I'm just there to back up someone else, which means I have to keep enemies at bay, crowd control. So for this mission, I'm just going with all-rounder for this Ash build. So now that I have 68 duration, now I'm going to check what my second ability is. And it's now 5.4 seconds, which means after, I would say about 6 seconds, it'll come off, which is good because he only does that smoke bomb when he wants to get to something real quick. But if you're scared, if you want even more duration period and even more damage output, what I would suggest you would do is, if you're not going to take a lot of damage because you want to stay invisible for a long time so you don't have to take a lot of damage, the only way to do that so you don't have to worry about taking damage to have adaptation on, the only way to do that is to have narrow-minded on. And this narrow-minded mod keeps your duration on this Warframe for a long time. Seven. Okay, so at 200 that should be fine. With a duration of 167, but you will really have to be within close range in order to kill an enemy. So that will be a problem because you don't want to be. The enemies will have to stand directly in front of you for you to actually do any type of smokescreen damage to them. So it's up to you to decide. Do I want more strength, or do I want to increase my range and stay invisible for long? Because even if I put on narrow-minded, my duration period to being invisible 13 seconds. So you have to consider that it's still not going to be long anyway. So is it worth it? Sure it is. You get to stay invisible for a full 10 seconds. But at the same time, you'll be lowering your ability strength. But if the purpose is not to kill enemies with your ability strength, then you're fine. You just put this on for a little bit more range and put this here. The whole thing about Ash Toolkit is strength. So you want more strength, less duration, but you don't want your range to be this small. So how would you go about solving this? The only way I could possibly think about it is to look into his kit again, and which one does drain per second, fourth ability. So if you're not going to be using the fourth ability, you don't have to worry about something like fleeting expertise, because you're not going to be using that, and it's not. But you are going to be using second ability every 12 seconds, which means you're still going to be taking a lot of energy anyway. So it's best to have it on regardless. Fatal teleport. Finish up target, dealing 200 extra damage. 2% of energy is refunded on killed. It's a very iffy situation here because if I knock this down to 110, now it's good. Okay, so that's good. 8.9 seconds. It's not too bad. Range is at 179. That's not too bad. Maybe that's not good at all. But I think that's fine. That's fine for a Nash. Actually, that's pretty good for a Nash. So now I don't need range anymore. But if I'm going to cast multiple times, or stay invisible for a long time, or use an ability multiple times over and over again, I need more efficiency. I mean, I really want more ability strength, and I could put on more ability strength. See what happens if I do this. It's good. This one. But I'll only go to 145, which means I need that 170, 175 if I'm going to cast. How much duration? 11 seconds. See, it's not even worth it. So in this situation, you have two things to increase the strength. You have this and this, or you have this and this, and then you increase your range. Either way, this is what you do. If you're going to be using an Umbra intensifier, which is the best thing you should do anyway, rather than regular intensify, you want to keep 2 slots open for Umbras anyway. One for an Umbra intensify, and then one for Umbra fibers. In any of these slots, keep them empty. Just like this slot is empty, keep at least 2 slots empty. So you always have 2 slots for Umbras. And then every other slot you can fill up, including up here. Actually, you would want to have up here with prime sure-footed. On a regular, prime sure-footed should always be up here anyway. So what I'll do is I want more ability strength, but I know once you start fighting strong enemies, you're going to need prime sure-footed anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Because God forbid you get knocked down to the floor and then all of a sudden your invisibility goes off, or you get staggered when you get knocked down for a duration of time, because they're staggered in this game. Then you're dead. But if you jump right back up, 100% chance to resist knockdown, then you're good. So this is a good all-rounder Ash build. You get a full 8.9 seconds, about 9 seconds. You get you have limited range, but at the same time your range isn't too bad. But you also get 370 extra damage once you do failed teleport. Then your fourth ability does drain per second, which is That's not good. Energy costs. No, it's not drain per second. It's energy cost per mark target. So I let's see, energy slash mark. So 4.8 energy per mark target. So you have to multiply 4.8, or at least count how many enemies you're going to be marking and then use the ability. So that's why it's best to have Ash at 175, because if you're marking tons of target and you're not paying attention to how many targets you're marking while invisible or while not invisible, you're going to be taking a lot of energy drawn from your pool regardless. So in a situation like, because he's pure energy, I mean he's pure strength, so it's necessary for him to, it's very, very necessary for him to have, this isn't duration, this isn't duration, this is the only one with duration, and this is one you hardly use. This is why I was saying the second ability isn't something you should have unless you really need it. So let's see. That'll have to do. Okay, so that'll have to do. And then you have this, and then your last one will be more strength. Seven or it's plastic game, man. It's prime sure footed, man. It's just that it's take up a lot of space. Okay, so there. And then you have something like prime sure footed in that little top slot right there. But it's like I say, it's always best to have two slots open so that this negative right here, this is what's draining your capacity for me not having more slots, because it's negative. Because it's not the same mod. This is a different mod. It's a different school. This is a Zenuric, Vazarin school, and the one I'm trying to put on is a Naramon school. So it's not compatible with that same school. That's why it's taking a lot of my capacity. So in a situation like that, what you got to do is throw on handspring, and boom, there you go. So now you have good strength. Now you have good range. You have good efficiency to do your fourth ability attack multiple times. And now your smoke screen is 5 seconds, which is crap. But you're not focusing on being invisible. You're focusing on doing kills. It's really important to be invisible, though. 5 seconds is really not much of anything, to be honest with you. If it was 10 seconds, I could see it. 10 or 9 seconds. But to be honest with you, this is fine. This is 100% fine. This is a kill Warframe. This is not an invisible Warframe. This is pure go in, kill, and I need to keep farming. This is not trying to figure out builds. This is just to keep figuring out the right kit for the Warframe, and then do missions, and then keep doing more missions to get more prime parts. So I'm going to go for more prime parts. Just have to make sure I spoke about these different Warframes if I'm going to use them, and I'm going to give correct information about these Warframes. So this is the Ash Warframes. Spoke about his kit, spoke about his ability. Now I'm going to show them action. Once this mission is done, boom, move on to the next Warframe. But I'm not going to take that long with the next Warframe when I explain the next Warframe. I'm just going to say that Warframe's kit, just going to show that Warframe's ability, and if I find a problem, then I'll speak about more than what it is. And then you have situations like this that people host migrate simply because they want to, or they have other things to do in life. But it doesn't really matter. Hostile via mission. That's another beautiful part I like about Warframe. Just because someone hosts migrate doesn't kick you from mission. This is not a pair-to-pair game. Otherwise, if it was, I would go back to my hub rather than still be in game. Alright, so first ability. That's the subsume ability. Second ability. Smoke.
We can't leave without rescuing the prisoner. Keep searching.
It's not bad. Third ability.
You opened the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
That's the third ability. I teleport to the location, I do melee kill. As long as I'm facing the enemy, I should be able to do it. As long as I see them, as long as I do it, and I don't move. Now, the third ability is very fickle, because if you move any way short, like if you don't allow it to do the ability, it won't do it. So once he teleports to the enemy location, don't touch your button, don't do anything. Allow the enemy to do the ability. I mean, allow the Warframe to do the ability. Otherwise, you'll miss the enemy. That's the bad part about Ash's third ability. You might accidentally press the button and look in a different direction. Now, the fourth ability is his selling point. What sells his ability? His fourth ability. So I'll show that right now. That's second. That was third.
Protect your avaricious servant.
So I need a couple of enemies to do his fourth ability. Now you only use this fourth ability when you're in a situation that requires you to use a fourth. And you'll only need to be required to use the fourth ability when you're in a sticky situation that you need to keep enemies at bay. I don't see any enemies here. What's this? Okay, so fourth ability. Here's the fourth. Now, when you use the fourth ability, all the enemies start to glow up. Like there's a glowing thing on top of their heads. Once their body is fully glowed, like this, guys, his body is glowed, that means he's susceptible to a stealth attack. Like that. How is that different than his other teleport ability? The difference is it's a multiple one. It's not a single one where you just press and look at the enemies. You could tag all of them and it will tag all of them. And then you could be running in a totally different direction and he will stealth them. As long as he's within range of them, he'll stealth them. So basically I could run all the way at the top, hit the enemies here, 1, 2, go back under here, hide under here, and if they're upstairs, they're dead because my invisible power of myself, or my ninja power, my aura power, kill them upstairs. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Oh, Nekros, okay, that's not bad. Okra Prime System, I need that anyway. So the beautiful part about his fourth ability, which is extremely beautiful, is that you don't even have to be near your enemy to kill them. You just got to tag them. You know, it's like dodgeball or tag the game tag. You touch and tag someone, or you slap them on the back and say, tag, you're it. You just got to run into the enemy while the fourth ability is on, and then you got to hide behind a wall. And then while they're chasing after you, while you're behind the wall, you just turn off the ability. So it's an ability you turn on, you run and tag them, and then you turn it off. And when you turn it off, your silhouette, your aura self, your teleportation self, goes to their location, stealth kills them, while you're just standing there with your arms folded, hiding behind a wall. So you literally run, tag the enemies within the area, then run down, hide behind a wall, stand there with your arms folded, while they're upstairs, turn off the ability, and then they're all dead. And then you run back upstairs, more enemies come into the room, you tag more enemies in the room, run back downstairs again, hide behind the wall again, turn off the ability, and they're all dead upstairs again. That's the beauty part about his kit, his ability, and his strength, and his weaknesses is that his ability of his, I believe his second ability and his third ability are his weakest, because the third require you to be looking at the enemy and then stealth kill them, whereas the first ability and the fourth ability are his strengths and his strongest. So that was the Ash Warframe, a very good DPS Warframe, very helpful and very useful Warframe to have when you just don't want to fight anybody. Like, this is the Warframe that you would use if you just want to farm a lot of stuff and you don't want to fight anyone whatsoever at all. You just keep spamming the fourth ability. But in order to spam the fourth ability, you have to have Prime Flow on, and you have to have Fleeting Expertise on at max, or not at max. You could put Fleeting Expertise, hard to say that word, Fleeting Expertise at 3, at 4, at 5. Right now, Fleeting Expertise is at 5. You can have it at 3, at 4. And then what you want to do, if you want to have that 175, you simply throw on Streamline at a higher count. So this is a Streamline of, I believe, of 7. I'm going to throw on a Streamline of 8. And now he's at 175. Because if you throw on a Streamline at 6, it's at 165. But if you throw on a Streamline at 8, it'll go back up to a 175. Let me see. Streamline of 8. Yeah, so sometimes you could have your Fleeting Expertise all the way down to just like 2 stars, which will make the mod like a level 2, but it will give you more efficiency than the regular Streamline. And then in order to get more efficiency, once you have Fleeting Expertise on, because what Fleeting Expertise does, it decreases your duration period, even though it saves you efficiency. So if you really want more duration period, but you also want more efficiency, this is what I do, or what you should do. You should have your Fleeting at 4, at efficiency of 4, which means this has to say 4 up inside, and then you throw on a mod like Streamline at a max, because then at a max Streamline of 9 and a Fleeting Expertise of 4, you will get your 175. And at the same time, you will increase your duration past the 78% that I have here, which will make sure, if I'm 100% certain, it will make your duration period for your smoke screen to go from 6 to a 7.2 or 8.2. I think it'll go to an 8.2 with a duration that is beyond 78. Once it goes to a duration that's 88 or a 90, I believe it'll go up to 90. Once you have this down to 4 rather than 5, it'll go up to like 92 or something like that. That means his smoke screen will be like at a 8, a 7 or an 8, which is good. You really only need 5 if you want to do quick stealth kills with both smoke screen and with fatal teleport. But it's always helpful to do another stealth kill. But like I said, your true stealth kill lies within your 4th ability, which is a Blade Storm, and you having the mods of Fleeting Expertise at 4 and Streamline at max of 9, which gives you an efficiency of 175, where you could spam the 4th ability over and over again. So that was Ash Warframe. Now I'm going for Atlas Warframe, and I'm going to put on random stuff on them. At least stuff that will make them work the way I want them to work. So this is a very tanky Atlas. Lots of shields. He doesn't need lots of shields, to be honest with you, so let me remove that. Yeah, that's fine. What he does need is more power strength. And he does need armor. So which one will replace? Okay, so yeah. And last but not least, he needs more strength. Do I have fleeting? I don't need fleeting. I need efficiency. I'm going to multiple cast. If I'm going to summon his 4th ability, I'll need more duration period. Which means I need. If I'm going to have them running missions. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this, if I want his little rumblers to be in mission multiple times or stay in mission longer, I'll need to have a stronger duration periods. So I'm going to replace that with this, and I'm going to increase his range to so they could still be around me, but at the same time keep their distance. And they have a significant amount of damage. Well, not significant amount. I would say 13 is not good, but I want his upper slot to. I want his Exumas here to have something in here. More strength, please. Not necessarily good, but based on this kit, he has lots of health. He has decent armor. He has decent shields. Wonder if I take this off. Let me try something else. And if I put adaptation on, means he's not going to die a lot either. But the thing is, if I want to kill with his rumbler, I need to give him more strength. So if I'm going to do what I think I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put this here. That will give me more strength, even more strength. And then hopefully this doesn't take a lot from my duration pool. Let's see how much that'll take. $96 seconds. Ooh, that's a lot of seconds. Let's try that again. That's a lot of seconds. So that's pretty good. At 200 duration, that's over a minute That's good. That's good. Okay, so um, this is a decent all-rounder for the Atlas Warframe. We're over 200 in duration. We're over 200 in strength. This at 100 and this within 90. And then if you have the Umbraformers here and here, if you put Umbraformers here and here, then you will have more capacity. And then you put something like Prime Sure-Footed in the slot up here. So, but in order to have Prime Sure-Footed in the slot up here, you'll need to put a Forma, an Umbra here, and an Umbra here. That will make this Warframe a good all-rounder, um, if that's what you're going for. Now, if you really want to put Prime Sure-Footed on so you don't get knocked down whatsoever at all. Wait, someone's talking to me. Could you tell me what Gauntlet is? Um, it's voluntary. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so I have this. I really want to put in. Okay, so Prime Surefoot is in there. You want that in so you don't get knocked down while you're killing enemies. You want this to be at 200. You want this to be at 200, which means da, 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 da. I just need more strength, more strength. What if I see, the beautiful part why I love Warframe is that you really got to think. It really makes you think. You can't just randomly throw in anything and expect things to work out. If you really want to be like a beast in mission, you really got to think where you're going to put certain things and what you're going to use and what you're going to do and how effective it's going to be once you get in mission. So this is 7. If I wonder if it, okay. That's not good. I want to be at least at 90. Damn it, 80s. 80s are not good either, but at least it's better than 7. Okay, so at least it's better than 76. 84 is fine. All right, so now I got 7. Now I can at least increase the power strength. And boom, there it goes. So I want this to be in the 90. I don't want it to be in 80, which means I have to get closer towards enemies. But this is what you would go for. Like if you were able to put, I'm gonna put another formula for this Atlas here, so he could have Prime Sure-Footed in the slot. So in order to do that, I should do that right now. Yeah, okay. Making sure I have the right one. It's kind of weird I didn't have it in there before. All right, so once that's in there, obviously it's going to take away from this. Strange, why didn't it take away from... Wait a minute, what was in there before? Oh, duration, yeah, duration was in there. No, it's no good. Maybe it was too... No, it's fine. Why the hell did it kick that off? That didn't make any sense whatsoever. sometimes the game will randomly remove stuff once you go past a certain capacity level, even though you have enough space to put it. So that's it. That's how you have it. Now for his aura here, you have something like growing power to increase your power strength right here. But if you want to keep it at this power strength, and since you're going to be getting close towards enemies in order to do your ability and damage ability, having the ability to knock off your enemy's armor to 18%, no matter how strong your enemy is, they will always get 18% of their armor off, which isn't good at all, to be honest with you. That's not even 25% of the enemy's armor. So they had nerfed this actually corrosive projection off, which isn't good. I don't know why they did that, but they just did. Um, so in order to sub for something like that, you would just throw on something like growing power to give yourself more power strength. But if you're doing melee damage, which Atlas does, he does melee damage, especially his abilities. You want to increase your melee, but if you're doing pure power punches, I guess you would put on growing power. But if you're doing melees, pure melees, to kill enemies fast, you would put this on. So either way, it works for your advantage. I would say put this on if you're going to get close quarters with Atlas and use a melee weapon. So I'm going to use this melee weapon with Ash more than anything else. For this example, I'm going to show you his kit, and this is all-rounder ability. This is an all-rounder I made for Ash, and you could use this all-rounder for this not for this Ash, for this Atlas, and you have something like ultimatum or guardian. Okay, in a situation like this, I would go more for energized than guardian. Lots of people go more for armor because Atlas is an armor warframe. But if you're going to be using abilities over and over again, you always want a continuous pool of energy. See, you don't have fleeting expertise on, and you don't have streamline on. So once your energy pool is out, once this is out, prime flow is out, you're going to need energy from somewhere else. So that's where something like prime flow come into play. So you need flow on. If you're not going to have fleeting expertise on, if you're not going to have streamline on, you will need arcane energize on. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Okay, so now we're going to speak on his kit. His kit is this one right here, landslide. Basically, you charge forward, you do a landslide punch, and it drains 25% of energy. This drains 50% of energy. This drains 75% of energy, and this drains 100% of energy. So in total, you're already between just this second ability and fourth ability, that's 150% of energy taken from your pool. And you got streamline, and you got prime flow on, so you're already getting, with just casting each of those abilities once, already take more than 200 of your energy already, which leaves you with a good maybe like 50% of energy remaining to cast just one of those abilities again before you're totally run out. So you're really gambling on using arcane energize. So if you're the type that don't want to gamble and you don't want to do something like that, you want to always use your ability, then that's where the decision with what you are going to need to have on. Do you want to reduce your range even further, or do you want to reduce your power strength further? In a situation like this, if you know you're going to be using up your powers a lot, and you need to stay alive in missions a lot longer, you'll need a little bit of efficiency. Not a lot, just a little. But if you're the type of person that really, really want to be using your ability over and over and over and ridiculously over again for some godly reason why you think it's important to do so, then something like this is important. So let me see. His fourth ability is Rumble. That's 58 seconds. Not full 60 seconds. It's not really good at all. Alright, so I'll try Streamline, I'll try... Okay, so now you have Streamline Flow and that. And now you're at a full minute, that's good. But now your power strength went down, which means, and your range went down as well. So you're solely going to depend on your aura to be doing and heavy lifting. Or, in this case, since your power went down, you now can use growing power. So now you're going to get your 200% ability strength back. At least 25% added towards this, if not 200%, which is good. So that's where this works out. This works out to your favor. It works out to your favor. And now you're able to put on that 145, get that 145 by putting on that 45% range. So now this is the best kit. I would say this is the best kit because now you're able to save per each ability you cast 30% of energy spent. So if you use Landslide, you get to save 30% of the ability caster using the Landslide, 30% of the ability cast for using this, 30% ability use for casting this, which means you're able to use every single one of those abilities a second time all over again before you're unable to use them at all, and you're solely depending on Prime Flow. I mean, not Prime Flow, on Arcane Energize. So this is the better one. So now I'm going to use Ashen Mission. And in the next couple of Warframes, I'm just going to breeze past them. I'm not going to explain them a lot. Like I did with Ash, like I did with Atlas, like I did with Nekros. I'm just going to breeze past them. I'm just going to say what their kit are and what their abilities are. And like I said, if I come across a problem like I did with Atlas and Ash, I would talk about it. If I don't come across a problem, I'm just going to breeze past it. So I'm just going to show the kit and show the abilities.
Mission complete. The captive has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done. That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
So this is his first ability. I'll use it right now. On this guy right here. That's a punch, direct punch. And you can continue that punch. If you see multiple enemies, you can continue to punch. Now since I'm out of range, I can't do it. And that's where range comes into play. Like, I'm going to find an enemy that's at distance range. Okay, see, he's all the way there. I'm using my first ability, I can't get close to him. But now I can. So if they're standing, like say from where I'm standing all the way to the door, I won't be able to reach him. But if I come close towards the edge, right here, then I can reach him now. For instance, him. I can't reach him, but as soon as I get close enough here, I can reach him. So that's why I say the range of Atlas is good. It's very good because he's actually below the 100% range. He's below his 100% range based on the kit that I set up. So as long as he closed the gap between himself and the enemy, he could use his first, second, third, and fourth ability. And typically in Warframe, you're moving close towards the enemy and moving fast anyway. So you never stay too far from enemy unless you're doing a ranged battle. You kill him quick, you move on. That was the first ability. I'll show the second, third, and fourth ability. Sometimes I have to do multiple runs because these guys, they finish the mission first.
Your part is done here, Tenno.
And like I said, I'm only doing these missions with random people because I'm also farming for our clan's gauntlet tomorrow. And our gauntlet tomorrow is our in-game clan trials. That's voluntary, they don't have to do it, but it's to test their capabilities of being strong. It's not something that they have to do, it's just to see how strong they can get. Okay, so there's no point to solo something and just to show things, just to keep doing stuff, because this is the easiest way for me to get farm stuff while at the same time explaining. So his second ability is, as you saw before at the early part, he created like this rock shield or rock boulder. That rock boulder allows the Atlas Warframe to soak up damage from enemies by putting a huge boulder in front of him and hiding behind that boulder. So the enemy has to shoot past that boulder in order to even get to the Warframe. If the enemy cannot shoot past the boulder to get to the Warframe, then you have a good defense position, like here. You shoot around it, shoot under it, shoot through it. The enemy cannot kill you when you're behind the boulder. You can also, once you feel that the boulders has its usage, you can hit it towards the enemy and they'll die. If you miss, you miss. That's the second ability. His third ability is a Petrify ability. The third ability is the Petrify ability, and the Petrify ability, it basically, what the? Okay.
That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission and
Third ability is the Petrify ability, and the Petrify ability basically does what it says, petrifies. Now there's a mod that you could keep Petrify on and hold it, the whole Petrify, and to keep walking and do the Petrify. But since they've modded the Warframe, since they've modded the game and nerfed it, you can't do that anymore. And so now the Petrify ability is just a one-time thing. You cast it once, enemies petrify just like that. Turn to rock. It's not like back in the days you hold it down and you could petrify as many enemies as you can. I don't know why they nerfed it, to be honest with you. The hold down is actually worked. It actually was good, but I guess it was too OP, so they figured, why do that? So the fourth ability now is my favorite one is the Rumblers. Now, when you cast the Rumblers and summon them, anyone within your vicinity of your distance of your aura power gets frozen the moment they're summoned. And once they're in mission, based on your aura duration period that you have towards your modding, they will stay with you for that full duration period that you have modded on your Warframe. And if the enemy's not strong enough to kill them, they will stay for that full minute. If they get killed because the enemy is powerful, then they'll go down, they'll die. But if they don't go down and they don't die, it's because they're strong enough to take care of the enemies that they have to fight. And the duration period of a full minute keeps them in mission. So if you're able to complete any mission that's a full minute, or you're able to kill enemies fast enough and complete that full mission in under a minute, then they will always be there. Now, most missions you can do in under a minute. That's if they're sabotage, if they're exterminate, if they're capture, if they're spy, and sometimes mobile defense. But most of the times it's just capture, exterminate, spy, and one other. But after that is over, every other mission is typically goes from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. The standard in Warframe is 4 to 5 minute long missions. That's the standard. Actually, the standard in Warframe is basically 5 minutes in mission. If it's not capture, if it's not spy, if it's not exterminate, and if it's not mobile def. If it's not one of those things, it's typically 5 minutes or more. So that was the Atlas Warframe, and that was all his abilities. Now the next Warframe is the Banshee Warframe. I won't get into her full kit and her modding. I'll just check her modding to see where her modding is. And her modding is fine. This is the modding I'm going to use for this Banshee. Won't speak about the modding. She's decent. This is the decent modding for Banshee. If you have this on your Banshee, this is an all-rounder Banshee. This is not a Banshee using a fourth ability Banshee, and this is not screaming. What is it called? This is not a silent scream Banshee. Or no, correction. It's not a Soundquake Banshee, and it's not a Rebel Shields Banshee. This is a Sonar Banshee / Silence Banshee. So if you're going for Sonar Banshee / Silence Banshee, I would go for this modding that I have on, because you have 133% duration.
Essentially what people use the most nowadays.
Yeah, that you're 100% correct. That's what most people use nowadays, a Banshee. Because, hey man, check it out. If you use Sonar and if you use Silence, it's like you can stay in mission longer.
For obvious reasons.
Yep, the obvious reasons being that once Sonar is on, you see all their weakness, you see their weak points, and boom, once the third bully goes on, boom, finisher damage. Check that out. That's 400% to 535% finisher damage, and you could keep upping that. You could up that more with power strength and with more and efficiency, and you don't really have to worry about range. As long as your range is at 145, you're good. The only time you want range beyond that is if you're doing long defense and you need to go beyond 145. You want 175 and higher. Like 190 is the most you want for range in the defense using Banshee. But if you're not going for 175, 190, 145 works best for this Banshee all around. So, oh yeah, and for obvious reasons, any Warframe that use up energy, if you don't have efficiency on, the standard will always be Prime Flow and Archi-Energize if you don't use a type of efficiency mod. So always use an efficiency mod. especially with Banshee, you should always want to have efficiency mod because she's a caster warframe, and caster warframes always need efficiency. So if you're not going to have an efficiency mod on Banshee, you must always pay attention to the fact that you shouldn't be using your ability all the time if you're not going to have an efficiency warframe on a warframe that use energy all the time in mission. So this is the warframe I'm using. I'm going to speak about her kit right now, and of course do my prime part farming. Okay. Easy mission. Farming for my team and my clan. Those aren't really good. And that's not bad. Chroma is not good either. Chroma used to be good. That's not bad either. Alright. So now I'll go in mission. Now I'll show you the Banshee kit. I have a feeling today I won't be able to show every single kit. So I'll only what I'll do is I'll skip the crappy warframes. Well, no warframe is crappy, but I'll skip the lesser warframes and go to the better ones. Because I want to get all the real good ones in before my time is up. And I'm jumping off in like an hour, so I want to get towards all those warframes. Actually, I'm jumping off in like an hour and a half. But I still want to get to all those warframes. I don't think I'll be able to get to all of them because they're literally. It's hard to say that word. Well, it's not really hard. You just have to remember to say it a lot so you don't forget. Okay, so now sonar. Boom. When sonar is on and you're within the vicinity, it will show you enemy's weakness. And you see it. It shows up on the enemy's bodies. And then you cast the third ability. This allows enemy to open up for finishers. So now you not only see where their weakness is on their body or on their head or on their face, or silence make them hold their head or hold their body for a certain period. But it also does is gives you a bit of finisher damage as long as it's on. So you not only have the ability to see their weakness, see their weak points, you now have the ability to use your third ability to increase more damage towards that weak point, which means they're going to die faster. And you run around with both the second and the third ability on. Because I believe you could turn off the second ability. Yeah, you could turn off the second, but you have to wait for the third to go off on its own. Or am I completely wrong? Oh, the fourth. No, I'm completely wrong. I'm thinking about the fourth ability. You could turn off the fourth ability all the time. But the second and third ability, you could cast as many times as you want.
Your sacred tokens shall remain secure from the grasp of the idol.
Just remember, you don't need to cast as many times as you want because they have a certain amount of duration on them. Anyway, see? You come within range of an enemy, they automatically go to the ground or automatically hold their head because they're affected by it. And you just gotta look at where the weak point is and start firing off. Now her fourth ability is, I'm going to show the fourth ability in the simulation. Actually, I won't show it in the simulation. I just need to keep farming prime parts. So the next mission I'll show the fourth ability.
Has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
I could have stayed in the mission and I could have used it, but the objective of this playthrough is not only to do one thing, but to do several things. To state about the Warframe kit and their abilities, to farm for my clan's gauntlet, and to recruit all at the same time. So I'm doing 3 things all at once, and I have to make sure I do it consistently if I'm going to stay on for 4 hours to do all of them. So recruit is posted again. That's set. Okay, now doing the 4th mission. Doing the next mission. Make sure the mission is a short mission. Oh, that's not short. Faster mission you want to do all the time in order to get the prime part farming or farm prime parts real quick, real easy. Captures the fastest one. Second fastest is spy. Third fastest is exterminate. Goes depending on how fast the person exterminates an enemy, and then you go towards extraction. I believe the 4th fastest is mobile defense. But then again, that whole interception mission with you flying around is actually the 3rd fastest. But that's something that's not a continuous thing, that doesn't give you prime parts. That's just a standard mission in game. Okay, so here we go. I only have to show the 4th ability. I already show off the... Actually, I didn't show the 1st, did I? I didn't show the 1st. Alright, so I'll show the 1st and the 4th. Okay, this is someone else hosting, so I can't skip it. The ability of the 1st is called Rebel Shields. So, instantly restore your shields. Is this a... Oh, no. Oh, another Exumus ability for 1. I believe our first ability is something totally different. Alright, so I don't need to show that. So I'll just show the 4th then. So I'll show the 4th.
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive.
That's the 4th.
Your part is done here, Tenno.
Now, when you're doing the 4th ability, what I suggest, if you really want to see where your Warframe is to change your game's depth of field, or your display, your field of view. So if you increase your field of view to like something like this, and then you cast your ability, you're able to see your Warframe more, as well as everything else around you. But if you decrease your field of view, you can't see your Warframe. You see it less. So there's also a lot of stuff within field, depth of field, range, so on and so forth, that are also critical towards you survivor in a game. Lots of things that you would think won't be necessary for your survival in Warframe, but it actually turns out they are. Another beautiful part about using her 4th ability, she is the only Warframe where you could use her 4th ability and don't have to be paying attention to what she's doing whatsoever at all. You could be in menus while her 4th is on. As long as you have an efficiency of 175 with the Banshee on, you could do that 4th ability for a long time, and she will stay there on that ground until you turn it off. Most of the times you do that when you're having a lazy day and you don't feel like doing anything, but you don't want enemies to get near you to kill you while you're talking to your friends, or you have like a phone call or something. So you use that when you have a phone call, or when you're doing something busy, and you make sure you have prime flow on when you're doing that. Make sure your efficiency 175, make sure you have prime flow on, and make sure you have a range of 145. That's what I call the social media banshee. I call that social media banshee, whereas you're talking to people outside the game and doing things outside of the game, while at the same time playing the game. You're doing more outside the game than you do playing the game. That's called the social media banshee. I typically call that banshee social media banshee because most of the times you're on Twitter and Twitch talking to your friends, doing posts while you're in game doing things, or on your phone on social media, and that's a social media banshee build. You basically have 145 range, 175 efficiency, prime flow on, arcane energize on, and you're good to go. Because most enemy will try to get close to you to damage you. Anyway, like if you're hiding behind a wall, I suggest you hide behind a wall. The enemy will try to find you. If they're at a range and shooting you from a distance at beyond 145, and they can't get to you because you're hiding behind a wall, they'll come from where they are, where it's a hilltop or at a distance or over a hill or within a building. They'll run to your location to find you behind the wall that you're hiding behind. And once they do that, they're going to be within that 145 range. While you're playing social media banshee, they get within that 145 range, and they end up getting stunned and killed because Banshee's on the ground still on her fourth ability, while they're dumb enough to come and look for her, and now they're hit by the 145 banshee, social media banshee. So that was Banshee. This is Baruch. This is his kit. Elude, Lull, Desolate Hands, and Serene Storm. Or Serene Storm. However you want to say it. I call it Serene Storm. It was a serene and beautiful day. Something like that. That's his best ability, by the way. I think Lull is his second best. No, his second best is his Desolate Hands and Serene Storm. Then again, the best part about Baruch is that he's very unpredictable. His first and his fourth could be his best. And then his third and his fourth could be his best. And then his second and his fourth could be his best. It really depends on what you're going for. Most of the times, his second ability is something you'll only use if you have ridiculous amount of range and duration period. But most of the times, it's probably the most useless of the kit. That if you are not doing a duration run in defending a target. If it is, then this is good. So it's mostly Lull, it's mostly Desolate Hands, and it's mostly Serene Storm. I'll use all of them and show his kit. Let me actually, what's my mod on for this? Prime continuity is on. Okay, so there. So this is also a DPS Warframe, critical chance DPS Warframe. And it says so within his abilities as well. Status chance. He does 391 status chance on his fourth ability. His damage reduction goes from a 25 to 39%, which is fair, not great. His damage is not so good, but the main thing is his fourth, is reactive storm. That's what's important. The 391% of the reactive storm. That's what's important. His second ability, his third ability is Desolate Hands. The important thing to understand is radius. This is a range Warframe / DPS Warframe. It doesn't have to be near its enemy to kill its enemy. The enemy could be at a very far range, and as long as you have range mod on, it could do a punch. It could do a good punch right in front of itself, and then that punch will go towards the enemy and kill the enemy at a great distance. So as long as you have range mods on, he could punch right up in the air and it will still reach an enemy that's probably within 1,000 kilometers from where he is if you have good mods on. Or not even 1,000, maybe like 500 meters from where he is. And he'd be able to kill him. So this is a range slash DPS mod. He has a range of 8.7 meters, which is good. Not great, but good. Area damage, okay. Damage reduction, okay as well. Let me see his modding again. Check out his duration. It's below 100, so that doesn't depend on duration. That doesn't depend on duration. This is the only one that depends on duration, 4.7 seconds. Sleep duration of 19. Like I said, I'm not going to be using his second abilities because his best abilities is first, his third, and his fourth. So that's why I have it under 100%. And this one is drain per second, his first ability. And you're not going to be doing this a lot anyway per second, unless you're in a situation where you're about to die from an enemy hitting you from the front. Typically, you use this when you're running towards the extraction and their enemy shooting towards you, and you're about to get killed because you only have like 10% of health. Or when you're fighting an enemy standing in front of you that's doing damage, heavy damage in front of you, like say a null, a Nook enemy, Nook Grenier enemy, or a Bursa or something like that that's shooting elemental coils at you from the forward, or any enemy that's facing 180 degree that's shooting anything from the forward. So if the enemy's behind you, you're screwed. But if you're running forward and the enemies are in front of you, anywhere from a 145 to a 180, depending on your modding. If it's not at a 180, it's at 45 degrees, which means you're fine anyway. You use this first ability when you desperately need to survive a sticky situation. You don't put this on a standard unless you want to just clear the room real quick so you could go back to help your friends doing other things. This is also a helpful mod. This ability is also helpful for when you're reviving allies that go down and you're standing in front of enemies and the enemies are facing you forward. So all you got to do is run up to your allies, start to revive them. If an enemy is coming for you from the left or from the right, all you got to do is adjust where the enemy is. Make sure the enemy is standing in front of you. Turn on the first ability, and then you revive your ally. Never revive your ally without having your first ability on. Anyway, throw on the first ability, start to revive your ally. Make sure the enemy is standing in front of you. Because if the enemy is standing to the left or the right of you or behind you, you're going to be dead. So if you could see your enemy in front of you, throw on the ability first. Then run up to your ally, then revive your ally. So this is a nice little outfit I'm wearing. Do I really want to use this one, or I want to use costume B or costume C? Looks like something from Borderlands. This looks like something from Dark Souls. It looks like something from Dark Souls or some game similar to Dark Souls. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the Borderlands looking dude. Okay, so this is the Borderlands looking Baruch. Do the same mission again. So the Warframes I've stated so far are good Warframes. So I'm going to skip all the bad Warframes and go only to the good Warframes. So Warframes like Ureli, I'm not going to use. Warframes like Chroma, I'm not going to use. Um, who else is bad? Frost used to be good, but he's kind of bad now. So I'm going to skip him. Ember used to be good, but she's not that great now because they nerfed her. Um, she used to be good, so I'm going to skip her as well. Hydroid used to be good. Actually, Hydroid is still good, but he's not great. I'm going to go through all the great Warframes. So after Baruch, I'm going to go through all the great Warframes. It's no longer about the good, really good Warframes, it's about the great Warframes, because I only really have an hour left to farm more stuff. Okay, so that's the weapon. So this is the first ability. You turn on the first ability. The first ability is on. Enemy standing in front of me. Enemy try to punch me. It doesn't work. The bullet goes straight through my body. It applies to melee damage too. If the enemy is melee slashing you from the front, I wonder if it applies to this as well, to shields. If I walk through this wall, this is first. Oh, it works to that as well. Apparently, it doesn't work with knockdown effects. So that's something that you learn as well as you looking at the video, or should I say, that's something I learned as well. I never tried it on knockdowns with the first ability on, so that was the first ability. He could still get knocked down even if he has the first ability on. He could still run through shields if he has the first ability on. But he won't get knocked to the ground if he runs through shields with the first ability on. But he will always get knocked to the ground if a knockdown effect is in effect. So that was the first ability. This is, what's the second ability? Need an enemy. Okay, so second ability is this ability, which makes me put all these enemies in a lullaby state. So they were all sleeping. They didn't look like they were all sleeping, so I'll do it again. So they just need to step on the ground at that area, like here. And as long as they're stepping on this ground within this marked area right here, as long as they stepped on that marked area, they go to sleep. That's why I say the second ability is not that great. Because it's a marked designated area. It's not a transfer of effect like other Warframes does, or a wider gap of area of effect. It's a very short area of effect. So it's not that great. Third ability is, just need to find an enemy. Third ability, okay, so this is the third ability here. What this does is it puts a buff on the Warframe, and it debuffs an enemy. And when it's on, it goes around allies. It's not just around you. It goes around your allies as well. So it gives your allies buffs. So the third ability is a buff. You'll want to have that on. That's your best ability, to be honest with you, the buffs. Your third and your fourth are your best ability.
Excellent work.
Not your first and your second.
Back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno.
Because with your third ability on, you could use your fourth ability better for your team and for yourself. The first ability is simply for critical situations, or if your shields go down and you need to make sure your enemies don't hit your health. So now I'll use the fourth ability. use capture again. I'll use a different mission because I want different capture. Excal capture. I want different prime parts. Yep, that's good. So certain abilities also synergize with other abilities as well. So that's another fun thing I like about Warframe. It's not simply about casting abilities and having different, each of these abilities have certain effects on enemy, and so have certain debuffs on enemies separately. Certain of your abilities are, I guess, synced to each other or have a type of um, harmonious synced or harmonious synergy with each other than other games do. That's why I like Warframe. There's certain type of synergy towards their abilities and the operators and the Warframes themselves connected towards each other. So even though each of these Warframe are individual sentient beings, their abilities kind of harmoniously synergize with each other. So here's the fourth ability. Oh, wait, I'm at 0. Okay, so in order to use your fourth ability, you have to build up your first, your second, and your third. Keep forgetting knockdown doesn't work. So a little bit of the second ability came into effect. He went to sleep. So I came into effect a little bit more from went to sleep. Third ability. And it builds as well. It's not just casting on enemies as well. It also builds on kills. So once you cast the ability and you kill the enemy, the gauge that's right there, that's that fist for Baruch, also builds up. So it's not simply about casting ability, but it's also about casting ability and kills. Whatever kills you do also builds up Baruch's fourth ability. So once his fourth ability is all built all the way up, it will start to shake. That little symbol at the side right there will start to shake. Okay, just making sure I get all my relics and all my traces for the mission. So once it's completely shaking, it's almost there, then you should use your fourth ability. You can always use your fourth ability at any time, as long as you have certain points. But what you want in order to actually do like heavy damage towards your enemy is you want that symbol to shake, that little fist symbol to shake. Because once that little fist symbol starts shaking, that means you are going to hit hard as hell against your enemy. I can't do it. It's not going to show me doing it. I wanted to show it, but I wasn't able to do it. But that's basically what the fourth ability is. You build up that meter. Once the build meter goes all the way up, that symbol will turn. I believe it'll turn a different color, or it will start to shake. And once it turns a different color and it starts to shake, that's when you should use your fourth ability. That's when you should turn on your fourth. You have to wait for the fourth ability to build up with your first, with your second, with your third ability, and also with you doing kills. Either stealth kills. I believe stealth kills allow it to build up faster. Stealth kills allow it to build up faster, not just regular kills. So that was Baruch. So he's a range slash DPS Warframe. And the secret to him is, like I said before, make sure you have decent range. Make sure you have decent DPS. And make sure you understand his kit and efficiency. Because this is what's important right here. Damage by reactive storm. And reactive storm is that little fist that's in that little corner. The faster you kill enemies, the more stealth kills you do, the more you use all your other abilities, builds up your fourth ability. And for your fourth ability to build up fast, you have to kill and use your third, first, and second ability all at the same time, or I guess fast enough in order to build it up, your fourth ability fast. So the higher your power strength is, or the higher the damage your weapon is, or the faster you do melee kills, the faster the fourth will build up. So that's Baruch. He's not the greatest Warframe, but he's very, very good. He's better than Chrominus, better than Ember. I would say he's better than Equinox as well. I'm going to skip Equinox, even though Equinox is good, but he's about an average. And then Excalibur is good as well. He's a very good DPS Warframe, but I still believe Excalibur is an average Warframe. Frost is also about average. And then you get to a Warframe like Garuda and Gara. These are more than just average Warframes. Well, to be honest with you, I would say Excal is a very good DPS Warframe, so I should speak on Excal as well. I might have to continue this video sometime tomorrow, to be honest with you, because I only got like 1 hour left, and I still have to go through tons of different Warframes. So I might have to continue this tomorrow. So the kit for the Excalibur, so I'll get to him because he is a good DPS Warframe. And it'll be a crime for me to actually not only insult the people who their poster boy is, because poster boy is actually one of the greatest DPS of all times in this game. You stand up in front of this dude, just like you stand in front of Baruch, you're gonna die. I believe if you get this guy to, like, it doesn't matter if you're Baruch or if you have Excal, the moment he uses fourth ability and he'll cut straight through that shields and you'll die. And kill him fast enough before he kills them because of Volt Shields and because of Volt Shield multiplier. Quick. Either him or Baruch. That's it. Every other Warframe will take a while to kill him because Octavia has to go invisible first before she even starts doing high DPS. And she's kind of squishy Warframes. By the time she goes invisible and start doing high damage, Excal will probably already kill her to build up their multiplier. Whereas Excal doesn't have to build up jack shit. As long as you have 300% in your strength damage pool right here, all you got to do is turn on your fourth ability and slash forward, and anything in front of you is going to die. And then obviously he also builds up in his multiplier as well as you go along, because all Warframe builds up in multiplier. But if you have a flat out 300% damage, or your power strength is at 300, or hell, even if your power strength is at 190 or two, no, not 190, even if your power strength is at 280 or 290, not past 300, you're still going to do high amounts of damage. What if your power strength is at 300? Anywhere from 290 to 300 or past 300, whoever's standing in front of you is going to die. Like, if you're literally at 300% damage or higher, they're going to die. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to prove that. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. This is the all-rounder build for Excalibur. This is not the DPS build. I'll show you the DPS build. Might have to take off a lot of things in order to even get there. But I'll get there. I get him to 300% damage soon. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm using the wrong Excal. I'll use, okay, so you could do the same thing on Excal, but what I'll use for this one is, instead of using Excal, I'm going to use Umbra, because I don't have to worry about putting Umbra mods on this Excal, because he already have the Umbra mods on. So since he already have the Umbra mods on, that's one less thing I have to worry about. So he's already at 194 power strength with just the Umbra mods on. So now we can add in the other power strength mods. So there you go. I'll be on 300 strength. And now all I got to do is throw in efficiency here. I really don't like this duration of. I really don't like that at all. Prime pulse on. Now this is decent. Okay, so in order to get more energy, because I'll need more energy, but I need to have the duration at least to be at the level I need it to be at. In order to get more energy, some hunter adrenaline will do me fine. Will work quite nicely. But it won't work because I don't have enough. Obviously, adaptation will keep me alive in mission longer. But the whole point of this video is to, I wonder if I take this off, I fall below. Let me try, let me experiment on something. That will have to do. Duration. Yeah. All right, so okay, so here's the gamble. If I'm going to straight up damage, then I won't be using the second ability too much. I'll just be straight killing. Let's see, what's the blind ratio timer? 6 seconds. Not bad. Especially if I'm moving, not bad. All right, so I should be able to climb it up. Increase its, well, this will drop it even more further. Yeah, I'll drop it even further. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, so I'll have to go with the 292. No, the 297. So I have to go with the 297. But in all honesty, you want to have his damage at 300. Now, if I had his blind rage leveled all the way up, so I'm going to try to see if I could do it, if I have enough mods to do it. Not enough endos. All right, so once you get this all the way up, with this build, it will go past, like if you get this past this next point, if you get this to a 8, this will automatically be 300. So you don't really need for this to be a 9. You can keep this at an 8. It saves your amount of efficiency. So this will just drop to like a 135, which is okay. So you don't need this to be all the way up to a 9. You want to save yourself some amount of efficiency. So 135 with a damage ratio of 300, you're going to kill a lot of enemies. And of course, melee weapon damage increased by 60%. But that's melee weapon damage. And what you're going for is not with melee weapon damage. You're going for power kills. So I guess you could say your fourth ability is a use of melee, but at the same time, it's an aura power instead of an actual melee weapon. So this might work out best to your advantage than the other one. So this is more power, power, and all three mods equal up to standard one something power. And you're now within the 300 power strength pool, because once this goes past 25% and boost up for 25% for like a full 6 seconds, you now have 300% power for 6 seconds. And obviously, anything, like I said, past 290, you're going to kill anything in front of you, period. Unless the enemy is level 100, they're going to take a couple of hits, then they're going to die. But if the enemy's beyond level 100, they're going to take more than 1 or 2 hits. They'll take about 5, 6 hits, and then they're going to die. But this could take care of level 1 to level 100 enemies easy before they even kill you. So yeah, if you're fighting a PvP against another Warframe with an Excal that's a level has 300% all-around damage, they're going to die. So I'll show you Excal's kit. I'll pick a high-level mission. Wukong, Baza, Burston, no. Harrow is good. Okay, enough of that. I need a Neo. But Neos aren't doing anything fast, they're all doing interceptions. Alright, so it's Meso again then. Mirage, Helos. Okay, so that's good. Mirage, Heroes, and Banshee. Good rewards. Alright, so I'll show the Excal kit, then I'll show probably 2 other Warframes kit, and then I'll call it a day. And their capabilities. Because there's no point in just talking about a person's, a Warframe's ability, and not showing the mods that you have on for that Warframe and testing them out. And then seeing how they synergize with each other. Obviously, these are all non-subsume Warframes, because if I'm going to make a video on subsume sacrifice Warframes, it would have been stated within the video. There's a subsume sacrifice build. So this is the Warframe Excaliburs or Umbras, depending on what Warframe you're talking about. Because Excalibur and Umbra are pretty much the same. They do the same thing. So this is the first ability. And his first ability is a dash forward slash. Now you do this ability only when you want to get past an enemy or an area real quick. Like if you just want to slice through an enemy and kill him in one shot, you do it like that. Or if you want to escape to a location, or if you want to get to an enemy real quick. Now, the only time this first ability works best when you're doing range, trying to get to an enemy real quick, super fast. You do 2 things. One, you put 280 range on your Excalibur, and then 2, you make sure the duration period is quite low. because if the duration period is long on your first ability, it will take a long time for the cooldown effect for you to cast it again.
Excellent work.
Or at least
Interrogate the captain
that's
at
what it
that
used to be
base.
before
Your
in the
part is
past.
done here.
Maybe they changed it up. Maybe it's different now. Or maybe I was just imagining things. But the main thing for his first ability, in order to get to an enemy, like for me, if I was to get from this side of the room all the way to the end of that other side of the room,
Find out what's inside.
1, 2, it took me 3 swings just to get into from here into that door. So 1, 2, 3. Just to get past that door, it took me 3 swings. Now, if you have a 180 mod, all you had to do is probably with a 180 mod, which means 180 range, not 180 mod, 180 range based on your mod, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it with one shot. So it'll be more than just 1, 2, 3 shots. Then you're through the door. It will just be with 280 range. It'll just be one hit, and you're through the door, and you're all the way at the end of the corridor. So that's how that works. Now, second ability is the one I just did. I made the Scream, and the Scream ability blinds enemies. And you would use the Scream in the crowd control situations. The difference between that Scream and other Scream or other crowd control abilities is that Scream does 360 all around. So once you do it once, whether you're facing an enemy or the enemy's behind you, if they're 360 degree all around you, everyone within that vicinity gets blinded based on the duration amount period. And also, this ability, unlike other stun abilities, or other duration of stun abilities of an AoE, you get critical hits every time you do stealth. So it's not just stunning the enemies, you then get critical hits on every time you do a stealth attack. Don't get me wrong, you always get crit hits when you do stealth attack anyway. But for Excal, more than most Warframes, his critical hit chance is much higher than others. Or should I say his finisher capability is higher than others, because his second ability simply is a finisher ability. It's not just a blinding ability, it's a finisher / blinding ability. If you want to do quick finishers on an enemy, like you want to do quick kills and finish off an enemy really quick, you blind them, then you go for finisher. So that's the great part about Excal. What I love about Excal is that you can blind enemies really quick and finish them really quick. Like if the enemy is super tough, like if the enemies are level 100, it won't even matter. If your power strength is at anywhere within 290 to 300, it won't matter how powerful that enemy is. If the enemy is beyond level 100, it won't matter. If your power strength is 290 or past 290 into the 300 range, you do your second ability, and then you go for a stealth kill on their back, they're dead. It won't even matter if they're level 175 or level 135 or level 150 enemies. They're still going to die. Anything beyond level 100 is considered super strong in this game.
Excellent work. We'll interrogate
So
the
that second
captain
ability,
at that base. Your
that's
part is
melee
done here,
damage.
Tenno.
And the best part about Excal, once you use the second ability, you don't have to be standing behind them to melee kill them. You can be standing directly in front of them and melee kill them. And if you have duration on your blinding ability, you could stand there all day. Like all day, just like say for instance there are 20 enemies in front of you. You blind all 20 enemies based on your range. I mean, even if your range is shitty, you blind all 20 enemies. If your duration is high, you could be, oh, melee kill the first guy, melee kill the second guy, melee kill the third guy with stealth, melee kill the fourth guy is stealth, melee kill the fifth, sixth, seven. Okay, that's number 8. Am I done yet? I'm at number 15. Am I done yet? My number 18. Melee killed the 19th guy. And now, finally, melee killed the 20th guy. With high duration, it won't even matter. They will still stay blinded with long duration periods. Which means you could take your time melee killing them while they're blinded. It won't wear off. If your power strength is 290 to 300, they won't get out of that stun effect, that blinding effect. If your power strength is weak, it'll wore off and it'll shake it off. So that's how the second ability works. It works on power strength, it works on duration, and it also works on how long it takes for the enemy to shake it off. Last but not least, I'll speak on his fourth ability.
Excellent work.
Because I already did the third ability. The third ability was first ability was a dash forward. Second ability was a scream. Third ability, I believe, was it's a teleport ability. I could be wrong. No, it's the downwards dagger ability. That's what I remember. It's the downwards dagger ability. Okay, so make this one really quick. He basically stabs his dagger, his aura dagger, into the ground, and then he does AoE damage to anyone around him. Basically, Excal is an AoE slash forward DPS Warframe. He's a very strange Warframe because you would think he would just be a forward Warframe where he just do DPS damage when he's charging enemies forward, like he's running towards enemies and just damaging, killing anything that's standing in front of him. But his other kit, his other abilities, also does 360-degree damage, as well as 360-degree blinding effect. I mean, he's very weird. I mean, people say, well, he's just a forward Warframe. No, man, his second ability does a 360-degree blinding, and his third ability does a 360-degree attack as well. So if you cast your second ability on, and there are enemies surrounding you, you just go and do your third ability, and it'll do a third ability execution to all enemies that were blinded from the second ability. That's also 360. So second ability is for S1, and now third ability. So once everyone's blinded, cast the third.
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno.
That's how that works. They're all blinded, and then after they're blinded, you cast the third abilities, dead. So, like I said, synergy works in this game very well. Not just with your own Warframe, but also other Warframes that are working together. Mostly it's your Warframe synergizing with his ability together, with himself and with his operator. His abilities, they're all synergized together. Some synergize, not all. For instance, this. See, he didn't die, and he wasn't there, but everybody else died. That's why I say this Warframe is a very strange Warframe. Sometimes he could totally miss an enemy. That's why he's not one of the best. But he's great. He's a very iffy. He's a great Warframe, but he's not the best Warframe. So now I'll pick up. I have. I got 5 of these things. 5 traces. 8 traces. Need more traces. Need 1 more trace. Okay, there you go. Alright, now this is his 4th ability. He takes out his sword.
That's it. You opened the relic.
And then he slashes
Finish your mission
forward.
and we'll take a look inside.
Now that's 4th ability, that sword, that R sword that he takes out and he casts, and he just slashes forward over and over and over again, which I was doing. That R sword, his 4th sword, which is his Excal blade.
Mission complete. The captain
Basically,
sword
that's the
is
decimation
destroyed.
sword.
Well done.
That's the sword I was talking about. If you have 300% power strength, anywhere from 290 to 300% power strength, and use your 4th ability, that's the blade I was talking about. That's the 4th ability. It won't matter who's standing in front of you; they'll die automatically. If your 2nd ability synergizing with your 3rd ability can't kill them, your 4th ability definitely will, easy, even if it's in PvP. Unless you're using a Volt or someone like a Baruch, you're gonna decimate them anyway. So that's it for the Excal Warframe. That's his kit, and these are all non-subsumed Warframes. I have a couple of subsumed ones, but these are all the non-subsumed Warframes. And let's see, I'm skipping Frost. I'm going to yeah, since I'm going to continue this probably tomorrow, I'm also going to make sure I go in a straight line going downwards. Because if I skip past one of the good ones, because I decide to go all the way down to the best ones, I'm going to be a little confused on where I need to go thereafter. So what I'm going to do is make sure I follow the path that I said I was going to do before. Nekros was the only Warframe that actually didn't stay on the path before. So originally I started from Ash. Actually, originally I started from Nekros. Then I went to Ash. Then I started to follow the path and pattern. Then I went to Ash. Then I went to Atlas. Then I went to Banshee. Then I went to Baruch. These 4 top Warframes are very good. Atlas not so much, but Atlas is also very good if you know how to use them. So it's mostly Ash, it's mostly Banshee, and mostly Baruch. I kind of screwed up putting Atlas in there. He should have really been in there. I shouldn't have talked about him at all. But he's not bad either. So it's mostly Ash, mostly Banshee, mostly Baruch, and of course my boy Nekros. And of course, now we're at Excalibur. And now we're moving on to Gara. She's the next Warframe. And this Warframe is also very good as well. So I'm going to speak on Gara's kit. So this Warframe is very different from all the Warframes, just like many Warframes are different from each other. This Warframe focuses on using the glass ability in order to defeat her enemies. What I mean by the glass ability is imagine that for an instant that you had a huge piece of glass that fell on the floor from a broken window or something. If the enemy, let's say for instance, someone decided to weaponize that glass that fell on the floor, and that glass on that floor becomes as strong and as hard as knives, but it's still as small and fiber in I guess in density, in fiber and in density, and as breakable as glass is, but it's as sharp and as hard in its capabilities to kill an enemy as a knife. And that's what Gara's ability is. But it's not just that. It's that, how should I say, is if someone decided to not only create a glass that is so sharp and so fine tuned, but still keep the properties of a glass, but at the same time, still somehow make that glass stronger than bulletproof glass, but it's still the same like glass. It's weird to describe it. It's like armor piercing glass, but at the same time, it can still be shattered like glass. If you're using any type of projectiles against it, it's like armor proofing glass. It's like the bullet is not going to go through the glass if she has good enough strength. It's going to turn into armor piercing glass. You could shoot it for days and your bullets won't go through, basically. As long as you have ability strength on the glass, to strengthen the glass, that it becomes something that can bounce bullets and bounce bombs off of it, and it'll still stay up. It'll obviously take a lot of heavy damage, but it'll still stay up. So that's the type of Warframe that this Warframe is. It's something that could use glass to become something very sharp, or it can be used for defense purposes, to be something very strong, to block bullets and block shields, which is helpful towards defense targets. So I would say this is probably one of the best defense Warframe. This is what Frost should have been. Like if Frost was built properly, the way that he should have been built, it would have been Gara. Frost would have been Gara. Gara wouldn't have been called Gara. Gara would have been called Frost. That's all I gotta say about that. So I'm just gonna use her kit and show her kit. And so if you're a Frost main, if you understand how Frost capabilities work, is first he throws a snow globe. Second, he casts a landslide ability of waves of ice on the ground. Third, he puts a huge snow globe around him to defend a target, like a huge circle snow globe, like one of those little snow globe orbs that you have little snowmen in and stuff, or just like a huge frosted snowman head or something like something like a snow globe. You cast a snow globe. That's his third ability. Fourth ability is like a avalanche type ability, not like the forward avalanche, more like 360-degree avalanche, like spikes go up into the air and enemies get pierced by it. So that's Frost. This is, however, is Gara. She's the better version of that. Her first ability is Shattered Lash, which is basically she throws out the same thing Frost did, throw out like a frost ball, but in her, she throw out like a glass sling towards the enemy. And the glass goes through the enemy and turns them into glass. Second ability is her Splinter Storm. Basically, it says it for itself. Gara's armor splinters into a maelstrom of shattered glass. Allies with allies. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing correctly. I'm going blind or something.
It says allies who contact the cloud are fortified against damage. So Gara's armor splinters into a maelstrom of shattered glass. Okay, so I always knew that. And it surrounds Gara. I always knew that as well. And allies who contact the cloud are fortified against glass. Okay, so now I'm remembering her kit. Basically, once she has the second ability on, it not only fortifies her and goes around her and protects her from taking damage, but it also goes around her allies as well. So let me see, based on drain is 30, range is 43, radius is 3.6 meters, damage per second is 422. Which is decent damage for an ability that's not really meant to kill enemies. More like it's meant more like to buff allies while at the same time killing enemies. It's not bad. Duration, that's the bad part. 8.91 seconds. You want this to stay on for a much longer time. Damage reduction is 90%. I like that a lot. Even though I believe the duration for second ability should be on much longer. If a second ability is showing it in the red, then it should be not in the red, it should be in the green. Unless that ability is completely useless. So for this situation, her Splinter Storm should actually be in the green. Because you want it to be on for much longer while you taking less damage, at the same time damaging enemies. So, and damage multiplier is 1.73. Not that good. But it's the damage reduction you want. And what else? Okay, and third ability. So second ability is not really like Frost's one, but the third ability I would say it's kind of like Frost's one, the same thing. Traps any within. No, or is it? Yeah, I'm confusing myself. The fourth ability is like Frost's third ability, and I believe her third ability is like Frost's fourth ability. So it's kind of like a reverse of how certain things go. So third ability traps enemies within like a glass, and this glass is basically a reflection of different images of herself. And the enemy can, how should I say this? The enemy cannot find her. So they're shooting at the glass trying to find her because their minds have been affected by her power. So they're not seeing her where she actually is. They're actually seeing these glass of where she might be. So it's kind of like she actually disappeared and they cannot find her. Or it's kind of like she cast her ability upon them and they got sucked into a void. And they're trying to find themselves out of the void by trying to find who the real her is. But they don't know that they're still in reality. Or their minds have been warped to assume that they're not in reality, that she's actually in one of these things. So they're completely dumbified. So that's what her third ability is. To dumb the enemy's mind into assuming that she's actually present within this place, that these are actual enemies that they must kill, that of her or of themselves. So in all truth, her third ability really isn't like her fourth at all, like Frost's fourth at all. I don't know why I assume it that way. The only thing in her kit that's similar to Frost's ability is her first and her fourth ability. Fourth being the same as Frost's third ability, and the first being the same as Frost's first ability. So, like I said, this was the Warframe that Frost should have been. Instead, that it didn't happen that way. So, duration period for this is 8.91 seconds. So, I'm going to test her admission for these abilities as well. See what sigil I have on. Cycle 5, front. Okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna test her kit right now. Just turn up the volume.
Okay, so this is Gara. That was Gara's kit I just showed. And I'm gonna do Gara's mission. I mean, I won't call it Gara's mission. I'm just going to do the same thing I've always been doing. But I just had to show Gara's kit, her capabilities, what she can do, what she can't do. And I believe my mic was a little cut off right there. Thought it might have been blacked out or something like that, or going back and forth. But after Gara, I'm gonna call it a day. As I'm really thinking about it, maybe I have the capabilities to do just one more Warframe. Yeah, I think I have the ability to do just one more Warframe after Gara. But I think I'll leave it for tomorrow. I'll leave it for tomorrow. I'll stop here today with Gara. And tomorrow I'll pick up with the Garuda. Yeah, tomorrow I'll pick up with Garuda. Because there are tons of Warframe and different kits. And there are various different builds you could go for. And understanding how the Warframes work. Yeah, and in all truth, it's been like what? It's been like 3 hours. I've been on for more than 3 hours now. So after 3 hours playing Warframe, I'm gonna 3 hours and 20 minutes to be exact. No, 3 hours and 4 minutes, not 20 minutes. 3 hours and 4 minutes to be exact.
That's it. You opened the relic.
Yeah.
Finish your mission and we'll take
Typically,
a look
I don't
inside.
play Warframe for more than 3 hours anyway, but sometimes I play for 3, sometimes I play for 4. But I never go beyond 3 and 4 hours. So today's 3 hours, tomorrow will be probably 3 hours as well, 3 or 4 hours. Just explaining this, and then I'll play the remaining couple of hours on Warframe on my own time, not on video stream. So I'm looking for the enemy. Okay, this is her first ability. That's her first ability. Not that great, to be honest with you. First ability was never great to begin with.
Broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
So I'll show her second ability and her third ability and her fourth ability. So that was just her first
Mission
ability.
complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
And it's all about understanding the different Warframes, their kit, how the kit, understanding their entire kit of their different abilities, how the kit works, how the entire synergy works within the Warframe's different ability, how certain abilities synergize best with others and how others do not. For instance, her first ability doesn't really do much for her third ability or for her fourth ability. But I could be wrong. I just hardly ever use her first ability. Why I say this is one of the greater games that ever existed, because this is a free-to-play game. That's why I say this is one of the greater games. When I purchased this game, I didn't purchase this game at all. This is a game that was simply free on the market. I didn't purchase jack shit when I started to play this game. And the best part is that this game was already high quality for a free-to-play game, and that's what made it even more appealing. It wasn't just a free-to-play game, it was a well-done free-to-play game. Not many games that are well done are going to be free-to-play game. That's why I supported this company and support them. Every now and again I buy products within game and outside of the game. I mean, I don't buy any of their t-shirts or hats or anything, but I do buy like stuff like a coffee mug or
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
okay, so I got everything. I buy additional other things as well, because I believe their t-shirt designs aren't that good and the hat designs aren't that good. But collectible items from inside of the game, those are good things to have, because in time those things will become very valuable. Special editions of a comic book or something related to Warframe, those are important things. Because let's say, for instance, the company decides to stop making Warframe. If you have those collectibles of when the game existed, become very valuable down the road, because not only are you someone who played it, it's actually some part of a certain time period when the game existed. That's why I still have my Danger Girl. That's why I still have my Danger Girl video game. And if you don't know what Danger Girl is, go check that out. It's not one of the greatest games of all time, but it's a very well done game. That's all I gotta say. I notice I'm doing a lot of stuttering today. It's because
The enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
because it's a very relaxing day. When I'm relaxed, the only time I stutter is when I'm relaxed or when I'm really upset about something. Like, I stuttered a lot when I was playing Elden Ring because I was really upset at how they took the cheap route with regards to making that game. It didn't feel okay. So this is the second ability right here. I now have the glass all around me, and at the same time, it's getting hit by the glass. And the glass does something else. It didn't just hit the enemy. It does a blinding effect. So it blinds them as well, while at the same time damaging them, allowing me to do finisher attacks. So it does three things. It blinds them, it damages them, and allows me to do finisher attacks. That's the second ability. Third ability is the shield, where it casts a shield round. That's the third ability.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
So, one last mission for Gara, and then I'll show the fourth. So the fourth ability will be the last thing I show. And why I'm doing all this, when I could easily show them in the mission, playing the game on solo. It's like I said before, I am farming prime parts for my clan, for the giveaway, not the giveaway, for the gauntlet I'm doing tomorrow. So why just do one thing when you could do three things? Like, this will be my last post of in clan recruitment, basically stating who we are, what we do, and so on and so forth within the recruitment chat. And now I'm going to do a mission. So I recruited. No more captures. Okay. So I recruited. Placed the last one in here. Last recruitment post to show who we are. Now I'm going to do the mission to do the last last Gara run. Actually, no. That's a Requiem. It's Requiem, Rescue, Exterminate, Excavation, Spy. All those missions will take time, so I guess we got to do Exterminate. Yeah, so I did recruitment today, consistently doing recruitment while I'm doing missions. Spoke on the different Warframes, their capabilities, their kits, what they could do. I'm going to continue that tomorrow, because there's literally I believe like 40 or 50 Warframes. Like 40 or 50 Warframes in total. Maybe I'm just guesstimating wrong. Maybe they're less than 40 and 50. But it doesn't really matter. There's still a lot of Warframes to talk about, especially with regards to their kit and their capabilities. So you got to talk about each of their capabilities with regards to their ability, and regards to their synergy, and regards to their kit, and regards to how they work within the game. So that's still a lot to talk about. And if it comes across like I sound lazily, or sound lazy, or sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, it's simply because if it sounds like I'm just repeating things over and over and over again, or I'm not being straightforward,
the relic has been cracked open.
Simply because it's a lazy day.
Find out what's inside.
That's all it is. Today is a lazy day, and I'm just trying to get all this done. I'm just trying to get all these prime parts on this lazy day. So I'm going to be speaking lazy on lazy day. So I'm not trying to speak proper or come across accurate, or talk like I'm intelligent or something, or like I'm a professional salesman at a podium at a convention. I'm going to talk like I'm lazily explaining something, because one, I don't owe anything to anyone. Two, it's best to explain something when you're simply cool-headed and calm, because then you're able to say it accurately rather than trying to please someone else. And that's what I'm doing. So that was the first. And that was the first ability. This is the second ability. And now there's one more ability, or two more abilities, the third and the fourth. So I showed the first, I showed the second. I was showing the third towards the end, so now I'll show the third again. And then before I go to extraction, I'll show the fourth. Then I'll call it a day. Why did the enemy die from? Why did the enemy die from that? I don't know. Okay, so the glass mirrors are on. So that's his third ability. If an enemy is caught within these glasses,
another successful mission.
they'll be
Find
confused.
extraction.
So now the only thing left for me to do is to cast the fourth ability. Alright, so this enemy is caught within this little globe I have right here. These are glass globes. You can hardly see it, but they're present right here. See them? It's right here. It's like glass, so you can hardly see it. Now you can cast it multiple times, it'll stack on top of each other. Or you can cast it like 1 or 2 times, or just one time. Either way, the enemies are affected by the glass ability that are within the glass. So that means it only takes a small amount of hit to kill them. It doesn't matter if they're level 1 or level 100. They take a lot of damage once the glass has affected them and they're within the glass. And it also works best for when an enemy is outside of the glass, because they can't get to you if they're outside the glass. It will take them a while for them to get to you if they're outside the glass. In other words, they have to shoot it down. They have to break it down. It's like a wall. They have to break down the wall to get to you. And the glass wall is not a simple forward glass wall. It's a surrounding 360-degree glass wall. So it's surrounding you and your allies. And if you have decent range, like say 145 and higher, you're able to shield the target, protect the target. You're able to shield your allies. You're able to keep the enemies at bay for time period to do anything, heal up, whatever. And you're able to strengthen it by casting it multiple times. So if one part of the sharded glass goes down on the wall, you can always rebuild it and make it stronger. Same as Frost's snow globe. You could cast it again to make it go stronger. So that's the great part about Gara. Gara's fourth ability not only blinds enemies that are inside it, but it also casts like a glass effect on their body, which makes them easy towards damage on their body. So if you shoot them when they're inside of the glass itself, they take more damage than if they're outside. So yeah, so that's it. That's it for this Warframe video. And this video was just a showcase of various different Warframes and their capabilities. And I wasn't able to get to every single Warframe because it will it will
Hey,
take you like, hey, yeah, I was able to get to every single Warframe today because it will take me like forever to get to every single Warframe. Okay, always. Yeah. All right, so this gentleman will be the last person I invited to the clan. I'm going to jump off now. But I was only able to get to, let's see, um, this is a decent build. Oh, no wonder it didn't have duration period. I didn't have on prime continuity. Okay, so put on prime continuity. Let me see. Okay, that's why. That's why it was at 8 seconds. Duration wasn't even prime continuity wasn't even on. So today I finished up. I started with Nekros at the beginning because that was the Warframe that was within my arsenal, and then I moved to the very first of the Warframes within the A B C D E F G category, and I worked from Ash, and I worked towards Atlas, and then I worked towards Banshee, and then I worked towards Baruch. But I skipped Chroma, and I skipped Ember, and I skipped Equinox, and I went straight for Excal because Chroma and Ember were nerfed. Um, so when they used to be OP back in the days, they're not OP anymore. And Equinox was also nerfed to be in more of an average Warframe now, not high up on the tier list, but is more like the mid tier Warframe to upper tier Warframe. Whereas Ash is pretty high up, whereas Banshee is pretty high up. If you know how to use her, she goes also from mid tier to high tier, and whereas Baruch is also goes from mid tier to high tier. So these Warframes are all go from mid tier to high tier. Um, Ash, Banshee, and Baruch, not so much Atlas. And then you go for someone like Excal, who's also considered mid tier Warframe to high tier, depending on how you use his DPS. And then I went from that. I skipped Frost because there's no need to skip to use Frost or to do a video about Frost because Gara is basically Frost. This Warframe I'm using right now, that's shown right here, is Gara. She's basically Frost. And once you use her, you don't need to use Frost anymore. It's pointless to use a Frost because even though Frost has his own capabilities, even though Frost has his own buffs, even though Frost has his own damage reduction and DPS, I believe Gara is far better than Frost. So today I'm ending this video at Gara, which means I was able to get past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 Warframes and talk about all 6 Warframes kits, all of their kit, and all of their abilities and all of their capabilities and some of their synergies and what's the best modding for some of them. But everything I spoke with regards to their modding were mostly all-rounder stuff, not die-hard tank stuff, not distant range stuff, but all-rounder builds. And that's what you really want to go for more than anything, all-rounder builds. Because if you make an all-rounder build, that all-rounder build can do any mission because it's all-rounder. They could do all types of missions. You know, they're like a hunter from Hunter x Hunter. You're not only able to do one type of missions, hunt for food, you're able to do other missions like hunt for people, or able to do other missions like hunt for buried treasure, or do other missions such as hunting for artifacts. So it's something like that. All rounder builds and someone who could be very diverse in the things that they can do. And that's the type of builds that I was speaking of today. Various different showcases of various different all-rounder capabilities, warframes, and their various different kits. Tomorrow I'll pick it up with. I'll start off and continue on with but not with Gara, with Garuda, and then I'll go into Gauss, which is a good high tier warframe if you know how to use them, um,
hi.
as well as Garuda High, as well as Harrow, and so that's one, that's two, that's three, that's four, That's 5. And Naros is okay. That's not that good, to be honest with you. And Hydro used to be good, but not so good. So that's 1, that's 2. No. That's Garuda, Gauss, Harrow, Hildren, Ivara, Garuda, Gauss, Harrow, Hildren, Ivara, Korra. And that's where I'm going to stop at tomorrow. Actually, no, not Korra. I'm going to stop at Lavos, Limbo, Loki. I might be able to add 3 more or 4 more. Okay, so I'm going to stop at Mag. I'm going to stop at Mag tomorrow. So today I did 6. Tomorrow I'll do 7, 8, 9, and well, Loki's an average Warframe, but he's pretty OP if you know how to use his invisible. Okay, so 7, 8, 9, and 10. So today I did 6. Tomorrow I'll do 10. Yeah. So showcase. There are tons of Warframes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 in one row. So that's 4, and there's 1, 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 13 rows. 13 rows. Okay, so yeah. Well, it's not technically 100% 13 rows. So the last one isn't full, but it's about 13 rows of Warframes, which means there are more than 40 Warframes. Easy. Um, yeah, I would say it's easy more than 40 Warframes. Like anywhere from 45 to like 50 Warframes. Uh, so if I do the math anyway, so if I go 4 and then 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so 4 times 10, that's 40. And then 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. So far, 47 Warframes in total. Or did I skip a row? No, that's 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I did skip a row. So 10 rows. That's 4 times 10 is 40. So where's the 10th row? Okay, so this is the 13th row. This is the 12th row, and this is the 11th row. So 40 stops here. So that's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 51. Yeah, so I was correct. There are 51 Warframes in total, but are there really 51 Warframes in total? Because do I have duplicates? I believe I have duplicates. Let me see, who are the duplicates? Well, Umbra, like Excal and Umbra are 2 different Warframes, so they're not duplicates. And do I have duplicates? Yes, I do. So it's not 40, 41. Did I count 41? I mean, it's not 53. It's 52. So that's Neza is 1. Any more duplicates? It was just Neza. Okay, so Neza was he was the last. This dude was the last This is the last duplicate I had. I don't have another duplicate. I was pretty sure I had 2 Mirages, but I guess I got rid of 2 Mirages. I must have undo my subsumes. Okay, so let me keep going down. No, okay, so Neza, this dude, I had duplicates of him, and they're not duplicates of anyone else. All right, so let me do it again. So that's 13 rows in 4. 4 times 40. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is 10th row. So that's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. So it's a total of 50 Warframes. There are a total of 50 Warframes. Yeah, there are a total of 50 Warframes. I knew I wasn't imagining things. I knew there was something. I knew there was something off when I was saying 53. I knew I wasn't counting correctly, but I knew that even if I did count it correctly, I knew I had duplicates somewhere. So I knew there was a total of either 49 Warframes or 50 Warframes. So there are actually a total of 50 Warframes in total. See, because once you get here, you have to purchase this Ash Warframe. I don't need to purchase Ash because I already have Ash. So it starts again from the beginning. Ash and then Atlas and then Banshee within the market. But if you already have it, you already have it. Um, so yeah, there are a total of 50 Warframes. And I just got through 6 of them today. Tomorrow I'll have to try to do at least 10 more, and that will take me up to a total of 16 to show the different kits, while at the same time farming for more prime parts for our clan trials within the game. So that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to do. Speak on. I wanted to farm, speak about Warframe's kits, farm for our clan's trial event. That's tomorrow, and also which is at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I remember clearly. And trial is something that I post within a trial is something I post within our communications / clan on the message of the day. So in the message of the day board, I'm going to post it here tomorrow, probably like 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to be posted here, Eastern Standard Time. And during that time period, I still will be farming anyway, because I'm going to jump on Warframe like around 6 o'clock. I'm going to post it probably an hour before the trial starts, or 2 hours before the trial starts. But all at the same time, I will be streaming and recording this. But it's going to be posted in the message of the day board regardless. So that's all I got to say with regards to this. Spoke about the kit, did some farming, did some recruiting, and also I did something else. I can't remember what that something else is. But I did 4 things, I believe. 3 to 4 things today with regards to Warframe, all at the same time. Mostly about speaking about kits and capabilities and modding, because it's very important to get the mod down correctly for what you're trying to do. If you're going for all-rounder, you have to get the mod down correctly for it. If you're going for a tank, you have to get the mod down correctly for it. If you're going for and putting in all these slots something for range, you have to get the correct mod down for it so it can last longer, so you could execute things and missions much faster, so you could assist allies much easier, and so you could have synergy with your Warframe and your operator much easier. So that's a little Warframe education today that I didn't intend it to do. I just wanted to farm and explain the different kits, but not explain the modding and the synergy. But at least I was able to add those on to this video as well. So that's it for this video. I gotta go.